Hello. So, this one is on anxieties and a disclaimer that this is not about the debilitating anxieties, rather, the anxieties that we face in day to day lives and the root cause or the origin of them is out of either our incompetencies or something that we are overlooking. There is a bhajan, a doha by Kabir Sahab, in which he says that भला हुआ मोरी गगरी फूटी मैं पनिया भरन से छूटी मेरे सर से टली बला. What this means is that it is good that my pot it broke because I don't have to do the thoroughfare and the labor of bringing about the water, carrying it, and doing the same core, the same chore again and again. मेरे सर से टली बला. I got excused from the struggles. This is an outlook of a saint, a learned person, a person who has understood the wisdom, has come through understand the wisdom, the knowledge has been achieved through experiencing life and going through it consciously. Once you see problems in your life, you need to evaluate them on a scale. And what is this scale? How do you measure them? You can measure them by looking at them, whether you can do something about it, and if it is a problem which is of a nature which requires hard work, labor, intensiveness, a respect, some sort of going towards understanding the problem, gaining knowledge, and then tackling it, then it is a problem worth investing yourself in. And this investment could be in means of anything, maybe your time, your energy, efforts, putting in a lot of sacrifices, taking up a lot of responsibilities. If your struggle or the thing that is causing you anxiety is of such a nature, then do it by all means. Go towards it. Because even if you do not reach your end goal, the journey in itself will teach you a million things. The million things that you learn from this journey shall make you nothing less than a god in the realm of the things that you have overcome in the process. You will let go of so many attachments. You will let go of so many preconceived notions, so many ill concepts which were keeping you in a rut, which were not letting you develop. The childish philosophies that you carried with you will stop existing anymore. This nature of problem, if you are able to recognize and go behind it, then you are certainly blessed. The other nature of problem, the problem of things which cannot be addressed, which over here the poem has been referring to, is the one of problems which really are not problems, but we consider them as our problems out of our preconceived notions, our concepts, our conditionings through society, or our genetics playing a part in it, because we are creatures of attachment. We are creatures who are programmed in a way that we think we require certain things, but when we go into it deeply, when we go into the practice of neti when we look at it through a different lens, Even Vipassana is, when translated, means that to look at through a vision of depth, to reflect, question. When we do that, we understand that what we considered as supreme or so inalienable to ourselves is really not that. It is something very superficial that we hold very high. Like in this instance, that the clay pot which broke, and instead of crying over the spilt milk, what the lady or the maiden she did was she laughed a laugh of great joy. She understood that the predicament that she finds herself in is really not a predicament, rather a great blessing. That she has understood that what she limited herself to the course that were given to her, rather she took it upon herself, were not really ultimate. They were not really reaching anywhere. She was just indulging in a mechanical task which was keeping herself occupied in some way or the other. And now, what has happened, even though on the surface level it might look like a tragedy, but it is something which has come out shining onto her a great opportunity. And this she calls as मेरे सर से टली बला. This approach, in a way, also teaches to look at life through a lens of practicality, pragmatism, of a way of finding the underlying pros and cons, because not everything that looks bad is really bad. Having said that, it is also important to acknowledge that a person who is able to recognize the opportunities that lie in those pitfalls is someone of a very different quality. A person recognizing it all of a sudden, like a moment of eureka, is not at all common, it's not frequent. Usually, a person who is able to recognize this, who is able to reach that understanding, that moment of enlightenment, if you can call it, is someone who is readily looking at their problems, who is readily acknowledging what is wrong. Firstly, to acknowledge something is wrong is a big step in the right direction, because we are beings of such a culture that we feel ashamed to acknowledge the existence of problems in our lives. We feel that yes, सब तो सही चल ही रहा है, चला लेंगे. That is in a way saying that it's going on. Why do we need to probe? Why do we need to search? Why do we need to explore? Because there is a fear of coming to know of many unknown things which might not be so pleasurable or so easy to gulp down. Some experiences might come your way when you go this way, and the fear of the unknown, of going into uncharted territory, is so high upon us that we just have this fear and we lay low. We do not question our conditionings. We just stay in the shadows of all our problems, and we forget that there is something very heavy on our heads. This is the general predicament of people of the usual stance. The person who is able to really reach some kind of an understanding is someone who has given an attempt to walk the path. They have paid some price, because, as it is often said, that to earn wisdom कीमत चुकानी पड़ती है, which is saying that you need to pay a heavy price to earn anything close to wisdom. Even when we hear of Zen stories, you might be aware of the sect of Zen, Buddhism sect, wherein there is a big practice of masters and disciples, and there are many short stories called koans, wherein it is said that on the narration of a koan, many people, many a disciple might have gotten enlightened. Or there are small or very funny to a normal person stories wherein the master, he just hits the disciple with a stick, or he shouts at the disciple at a very opportune moment, and the disciple reaches a state of enlightenment. And when you look at it, although it might be superficial, we might even question the concept of enlightenment altogether. But what is something that one can learn from over here is that there is a readiness, there is a passion, there is a love towards truth, an effort in that direction shown by all those students who have come to terms with their problems in terms of acknowledging them and trying to do something about it. We, in our lives of wishful thinking and just ignoring our facts, are very much away from it. In humility lies the reckoning. Without showing a humility, a groundedness to one's problems, you will just be caught in a cycle of recklessness and trying to latch on to something, some person, or some kind of an entertainment, and never really progressing from that situation. If someone really cares for themselves, if someone really cares for their surroundings, the people around them, then they have to swallow the pill which is of truth, which gives you knowledge. Hence, it is very symbolic or very beautiful in a way that one takes the pill of knowledge so that they can dispel the darkness that is surrounding and overshadowing their life. And it is indeed an act of love. Thanks. I hope this helps you some way or the other in your life.